What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. It's actually been a while since I've made a video in regards to generic Pirate Rumble, so today we're going to be going ahead and going back to the release of Legend Big Mom, the Super Sugo Fest exclusive Big Mom, and using her in some Rumble today, because she's actually really good. I've injected her into my DEX team and shifted around a little bit. This is like a typical team that I would actually use in Grand Party, but we've shifted it around so that this team actually just works in normal content too. This is a fantastic team, and it's the main fact that DEX already is a very powerful color in Pirate Rumble, but then adding this new Big Mom into the mix really amplifies the offensive prowess of the DEX typing in Rumble, because currently as it stands, they didn't really have the best firepower out there. V2 Doflamingo is obviously fantastic once you get into the late game, and then Blackbeard specifically against strength and quick enemies is fantastic, but generally speaking, they don't have the best offensive capabilities. However, Big Mom does kind of change that a little bit. So let's go ahead and talk about Big Mom first. So her Rumble ability is going to give some buffs to DEX, obviously, with 6 attack, 6 speed, 5 defense, 5 critical. That is fantastic just by itself. Furthermore, giving herself level 2 attack up to 3 times every time she receives damage. So Big Mom is going to be a heavy hitter. And then you look at her special. Now 35 CT is incredibly high, but you have the special that does a large range horizontal 100% chance of halving stats for 15 seconds, and then 3.4 times her attacker's damage to those same characters that are inflicted by that debuff. So she just halves the stats and then hits them really hard. So yeah, you can't discredit what this Big Mom tries to do. Behavior pattern is pretty stock standard, targets closest enemies, and she herself actually also resists half stats, so you don't have to worry about being inflicted by these halving of stats in multiple different ways, whether it be against like Utas or just lots of other effects of half stats. You just completely ignore it, and especially in Grand Party, if you go up against half stat effects such as, Roger, for example, you can avoid that on this character, as well as 30% damage reduction. So Big Mom, pretty impressive kit overall, and by itself it's pretty solid, but the fact that she can be surrounded already by a very solid DEX focused team is going to be the big thing as to why she is so good. So let's go ahead and try and use her in some content today in Rumble and see how she performs. So we're going to go up against the challenge difficulty, which is the quick driven powerhouse focused squad, and we'll see how we do. And I do think this is going to be pretty easy. Like we're going to definitely tank some damage, no doubt. But, I mean, the DEX team versus Quick, this is like the best scenario that you want. And the thing about it is that, we're in normal Rumble here, where you get to really pick and choose what you want to use against the opponent, whereas in Grand Party, you're kind of shoehorned into certain situations a lot of the time. So you're going to make sure your team is kind of good in all scenarios. So we're going to use, Big Mom here in the DEX team against this Quick team. I don't think this will be much of an issue at all. And you do see I am run Doflamingo on the front line, and the main reason why I do that is because it just gives us lots of damage ASAP. Because the thing is you can get yourself in a bit of a weird scenario where if you don't have enough power on the front line and the opponent can't kill your DEX team, then you can't get Doflamingo off of the bench, and then you can't apply a lot of pressure to the opponent. So that's obviously a big issue. So having Dofi on the front line does make it a little bit easier to do damage against the opponent. So Luffy's going to be able to launch his special here, and he's not below 50%, so we're not going to be able to fully charge someone special, but Luffy's mainly here because of his Rumble ability. And here is Big Mom applying the half stats and the 3.4 damage, over like 14k damage to those two targets. A little unlucky in terms of the positioning of the opponent, and that is one of the downsides with horizontal damage. But as you saw there, Doflamingo did so much damage toward those characters, because when Dofi launched his special, those two enemies that Big Mom hit were still inflicted with half stats. So not only does it make Big Mom hit harder, it's going to make the rest of your team more efficient with doing damage too, so long as that half stats can actually hit more enemies. And we're just destroying this team, just absolutely melting this opponent right now. Unfortunately, Pell will miss out on using his special here because of that special bind, which is a little annoying. He didn't have his special ready anyway, so it's not too bad. Who's going to be able to launch this special next? We take a little bit of damage from Akainu, but we eat it up very, very nicely. Doflamingo is going to launch his special, and we should just win here, I think. Oh, it was close. Very, very close. And then Pell will pick up the victory here. Pell being probably one of the best top 3 best Rumble rare recruits in the game. I did invest posters to get him to 150 because it just felt worth it in my eyes, but very comfortable victory against a somewhat difficult challenge difficulty, but considering it's driven powerhouse focus, there are lots of ways to get around those classes in Rumble, but still, just goes to show how powerful DEX can be when you're in the right scenario. So this is another challenge difficulty that actually has quite a lot of quick characters, being the Cerebral focus one. Now I remember this one was actually pretty straightforward. It wasn't really super challenging from recollection. It has been a while since I've actually challenged this challenge difficulty quest, but I do have a feeling that we should be able to get through it pretty comfortably. After this though, I definitely want to go ahead and try and beat some opponents in real-time content against in PvP aspects rather than just these challenge difficulty boss fights to see how we can go against opposing squads. But let's just see what we can do against the Cerebral team. So the opponent here, I don't really understand why it's built in such a way, especially with Legend Carrot, because Legend Carrot doesn't really make a lot of sense to use on a Cerebral focused team, but here we are. So let's see what Pel's able to do. And yeah, Pel's just hitting so hard against the opponents here. Like, they just don't have a lot of defense. Dovi might get a couple kills here. Okay, just one, but doing lots of damage to the opponent. I know that Inazuma can be a bit of an issue, so he's going to be quite annoying to deal with. Lots of defense down, but we're still pretty bulky, so that's not really a big issue. And then Blackbeard with the health cut, damage, and then defense down, like, he's just so good. If we could knock out Hina, that would be awesome, and we do, so we don't even have to worry about Hina at all. Hina, quite annoying because of her action bind mechanics, which this team can still be inflicted by, and Big Mom will just get us the win here, I think. Oh my god, and then freaking Crocus, of course, survives with a bit, and then Pel once again picking up that victory. So, yeah, look, that was a pretty easy challenge difficulty versus Cerebral. Not a very efficiently built Cerebral team, but we got the victory nonetheless. So if you guys have ever gone ahead and challenged random people in Pyre Rumble, you may see a team very similar to this, and the whole focus around this team is to nerf your opponent and heal faster than the opponent can do damage to you. And if you come up against this team and you're ill prepared, it will get you. I have lost to this team before, thinking it was just kind of like a randomized team and it was really easy to beat. But sometimes the healing mechanics can really get you. But when you are prepared for it, it's pretty straightforward. DEX teams shouldn't have an issue with it, especially with Blackbeard. And this is where Blackbeard will be absolutely clutch. Being able to not really worry about the intense defense, attack down focused effects from that Ivankov there, but also nerfing the opponent's defense as well. And then the healing effects that the opponent has won't really matter because Blackbeard does a health cut and then fixed damage and then the defense down. Like, it's just, as we see here, Blackbeard launching his special first. Big damage, defense down, it's just over already. Like, it's just GG, you wrap it up, you know, move on to the next game. And then Pel, look, we get the victory in the first, like, what is it, 36 seconds of the game? Like, that's absurd. That's so quick. And just want to make sure that you guys can beat this type of team, because as I said, you know, using weird teams, like trialing out different teams coming up against this one, if you don't have the offense, you can't beat it. But very simple with the DEX team. So I really have no idea how effective this team is going to be against the Free Spirit team, but I am very excited to trial it out. The big thing, obviously, with Blackbeard is that he's able to hit quick and strength characters with more damage, with that fixed damage, and luckily Zora here, which is like one of the cornerstones of this team for allowing them to be as bulky as they are. If we can knock him out as fast as possible, that's going to be very useful for us. But the thing about Zora is he does have a revive, so it is going to be also useful for Big Mom to come in clutch here and do as much damage as she can. But getting rid of Zora is going to be a pretty big priority here, because once he goes down, the rest of the team should be pretty easy to kill. Also, Odin with his action binding mechanics could spell a bit of trouble for us, and then Sanji will consistently give the opponent opportunities to charge their specials. So this is going to be a pretty tough matchup. We're getting kind of unlucky with the positioning of the opponent, as Yamato and Luffy are just sitting at the front. We do avoid the action bind from Odin, and you see we're tanking quite well here, with these opponent specials. And here we go with Blackbeard. This is going to be big. Health cuts, fixed damage, and then, you know, Zora obviously tanking most of that. Sanji's going to start charging specials back, which is kind of annoying. I am really worried about Luffy Yamato once the first 50 seconds has gone. and hopefully Luffy can enable us to get, you know, charges of specials, but he is above 50% on that first launch here. Zoro obviously providing lots of bulk on the opponent. We're finally going to get Pell to launch here, and Big Mom still hasn't launched her special, so we're getting... It's going to be interesting to see how this actually finishes up here. So we're targeting Sanji, so I guess it's good to get some damage off of him, but he's just so bulky right now. Luffy Yamato launching. Okay, Big Mom, lots of attack value. If they're all in a really good position here, this could be really good for Big Mom. Okay, half stats. Okay, we've activated the Zoro revive. Now Otama comes in. Otama could be an issue as well because of her healing. That definitely could be a bit of an issue. Okay, so how much... Oh, this could hurt. Oh, that's so bad. Okay, Doflamingo would have been so clutch here. Dofi could be big here in the late game, but so is Luffy Yamato. This is going to be really, really tight, I think. Okay, so Sanji's going to go. He's going to charge their specials. We still tank it pretty well. And we still have the Luffy revive still activated, so that's going to be really big for us. Unlucky that Pell just missed out on using his special, and this is going to hurt. Okay, that's really bad. We still have Dofi. If Dofi can somehow launch his special, that's going to be clutch. His Odin have his special, he's not. But, oh my god, this is going to be so tight. Okay, Zoro, yeah, doing his thing. Blackbeard's ready to go as well. Okay, Dofi survived. Somehow, come on. Okay. Dalton's ready to go too. Oh my god, this is so bad with the healing. We need some really good luck here. Dalton. Oh my god, where is Dofi at? Please, Doflamingo, come on. This shouldn't target Dofi. Okay. Come on. And Odin's going to launch his special. Unless if he dies here. No, he's going to target Zoro. Okay, but this is going to hurt. Okay, oh, Mori is going to tank the hit. Oh, that's clutch, that's clutch. Oh, Luffy Yamato's ready again. Are you kidding me? Dude, we got so unlucky there, dude. Like, that is absurdly unlucky. Unless if somehow Sobermask can just get the kill here, but there's no way he does, right? I mean, yeah, that's unlucky as, dude. Like, Dofi was ready for so long, and, yeah, look, to be honest, I'm going to leave that clip in there, despite the fact that we probably should have won that game. I don't know why Dofi, well, he should have been launching his special. That would have won us the game if Dofi was able to launch. So, a little unlucky towards that one there, but still just going to show that, you know, this team can still put up with the best teams out there, even if you're not in those, you know, optimal scenarios, right? And when you think about using this team in Grand Party, for example, you'll then have burst skills that you can fully abuse to get the most out of it too. So, yeah, DEX is still a pretty solid team out there, despite the fact we got a little unlucky in that game. But I'll still take that as an overall W in terms of showcasing what this can do. We did get a little unlucky in terms of positioning, as we've already talked about. You know, the positioning in terms of horizontal damage could really be an issue. So I guess we'll go ahead and just see how this goes. The really big thing about this is, like, this INT team is usually really annoying to go against. But the thing is Big Mom has the ability to resist half stats, so we don't have to worry about Moria really giving heavy debuffs to what Big Mom tries to do. And considering Big Mom can apply half stats and do very good damage herself, I'm not really concerned about the enemy having the capabilities of stalling out our team, which is what this aims to do. This is a really solid team to use against a Psy team, so I think that's what this defense team was kind of built around, that if the enemy uses a Psy team, you can kind of take advantage of that. But I do still think we'll be okay. So Mori's going to use that effect, and half stats will be inflicted to quite a lot of characters on our team, unfortunately. But Big Mom won't have to worry about that effect at all. Doflamingo was unaffected by it, so we can at least get his special off. That was actually really, really good damage against the opponent. And then Reiju can actually heal herself a little bit there. Kid, I don't think he does anything too much to us. I know that against Psy characters, he can special bind them. Apu actually does pretty solid damage, all things considered, to be honest. And then here we go with Big Mom. Let's see how much damage we can do. Alright, so about 6k damage across the board. Of course, if you're able to pull duplicates or invest posters into Big Mom, she becomes an even bigger threat to the opponent. Blackbeard doesn't care about half stats. We're just going to use some health cuts there. Pell is barely alive, but we'll still be able to do some damage to the opponent, but they tank it pretty well. Okay. Luffy actually will be able to fully charge one of our specials, so hopefully it's Blackbeard. Oh, honestly, it doesn't really matter who he charges. Big Mom here would be awesome. Okay, it's going to be Pell, unfortunately. It would have been nice if it was Big Mom. Okay, fully charging some character specials. Mori is ready to go again, which does kind of suck. Okay, they've triggered the revive. This is actually getting pretty close. Okay, okay, okay. So Big Mom avoided the thing again. And finally getting a knockout. There we go. It's getting a little sketchy there. Inflicted with the damage over time. Damage over time is something that they haven't really abused too much in Rumble. Like, I really think they should try and build teams around that. Like, focus build certain teams to, like, fully use that mechanic in Rumble. Because as it stands right now, it's not really that good. Alright, so Apu doing pretty solid damage, but there's only 2 characters left on the opponent's field. Dalton comes in fresh. We still have Moria and Sobermask on the bench, and at this point, we shouldn't have to worry at all. And Big Mom's going to get the kill here. Let's go. 12k damage towards that Reiju there, so yeah, half stats is pretty strong, as most people already know in Pyro Rumble. So there we go. Pretty solid showing against a pretty bulky DEX team, but we still got the dub, which we love to see. So that will wrap up today's video talking about Big Mom in Pyro Rumble, and overall I think that she is a fantastic addition to DEX teams, and I do think she's going to be a mainstay, at least for the short term and probably for the long term too, because her Rumble ability is so strong. Her Rumble special is fantastic, especially when you can hit a wide range of enemies, not only helping Big Mom do more damage, but helping the rest of your team hit even harder. So I think that she's going to be a great asset for DEX teams moving forward, alongside characters like Super Tandem Luffy, Doflamingo, Blackbeard, Kid, and the really good array of DEX Rumble rare recruits like Pell, Dalton, Moria, Sobermask. You've got Donchin Zhao, which you could also put in there for some utility. There's lots to love about DEX right now in Rumble, and they are one of the primo teams to go against in Pyro Rumble. Very, very scary to go against. But hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you guys did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.